Chi Creation, The Tree of Life, Part 6. So, I wanted to touch upon this. Our Unearth Awakenings, if you ask me, is the like an up and down. So, in terms of how this is, so if it's growing out of ground, then that's what as up and down is. So, about in terms of like the fish, if you've got like creatures which swam in this water as they die, and then you've got like a causation for a ground in that kind of sense. Which, maybe or maybe not, it's kind of like it's pendable to say in a sense, in terms of like when we've looked at the flowers and we see the clamping of like what the chakra does as it expands and contracts and it creates a flat plane. In one sense, maybe you didn't need the fish in the first place to create the ground as such. But either way, still within this bubble of consciousness that we're in, because this is like the pocket that we're in, and that holds loads of bubbles of consciousness, and then this pocket is held down by this ground, in which that ground is very potentially, part of another torus field system. So a larger torus field, which kind of, is, to contain, an entire plain full of trees like this, then, it's the same causation in a sense. It's like the Russian doll example. So it's like, within each torus field, there's another torus field, and, depending which way you go, if it gets smaller or the bigger they get, it's just more and more torus fields. So it's like that example, like it kind of goes on for infinity in that way and stuff like. But also, I do want to include in that kind of concept of at the bottom of the tree, where it seems to be like filled with light. So like that being like a portal and a doorway. So whilst we go through all these different realms and we can exist and reincarnate into a different place and stuff, I kind of think like this is the ultimate goal of getting through that doorway, and that, like, behind there it's all light and stuff. So when we like looked at that one, we can see like or some of them are even brighter. Like that last one we just looked at, it's like, it's white and stuff. So it's like all that colour and warmth, and it's like the aspect of where we'd call actual home. It's like, that could be a place outside of all the bubbles of consciousness. So it's like, it's like whilst we can continue to be in this realm, in a little bubble in there, and then in the realm that we're in, like the earth realm, this is holding these plants. But then the earth realm, just another plant like these, and then it continues and continues and continues. But still there's like that aspect of the actual home, the place where you get your DNA code from. It's like everything which is where your eternal life exists, because all of these are all temporary. You know what I mean? It's kind of like there's a limitation on time and all those kind of things and stuff like. Whereas the actual true essence of spirit is eternal. So like the idea of it being through this doorway, so then like it's not part of the bubbles of consciousness. So like that picture, and it shows you like the root, it keeps it connected, and then you get space pictures. Like Mike has took some, and you can see a star, and it's being fed, whichever way you look at it, by this like by something, but you can't see the source. Now it's either because it's coming through like a portal into this realm, or it could also be that we just can't see that star, sun, or whatever it is, because it could be the yin to the yang of the other one. So what I mean, we do see where there's two, there's examples of that, but there is that potential chance. It's like that stream, how it kind of kind of fibrous in a sense and stuff like that. Yeah, you can see detail now, but we see that in them photos. So yeah, it's one or two. You know what I mean? It's either because it's a twin sun thing, or because it's coming from that other place. You like that's where this realm or these realms essentially get fed from. Like you know the whole of them, all of them, all of them. Like even the plane where they are and stuff. So that plane, it won't just be a constant plane. It just you know be within the next bubble. You know the next range of bubbles. So we've got more of them. I'm not sure if I showed you these ones. I've shown you similar ones, and they're a bit blurry, but they're all like you know different. It's like that comic book I made years ago, a graphic novel series I wanted to do, um, and it showed you well like the first few pages and stuff kind of thing. I've done a pencil version and like an ink one as well with colour, but so it's like you know it's like a ball and it's got all these other balls which are kind of connected to it, and it looks like the COVID thing as well. I've mentioned it before on the previous episodes, but it's kind of interesting because some of them look like it in that way. I'll dig it out at some point, but everything's been packed up to move for the past 3 years. This is a long time. There's so many examples of these, and they all seem to like you know show you something different. You see like all these green parts, how it looks spiritual in that way. You know, like the aurora borealis in that kind of sense and stuff. And then you like get the contrast within this bubble area, and it all looks fiery and you know in that kind of sense. So like the physical and then the spiritual. It's like that's what this bubble of consciousness is creating. It's creating that physical realm for us to exist in. It looks like it's been cut out, but I've got other examples, and it's not the best picture actually, but yeah, I'm coming along. So yeah, similar to that picture I drew, but it's red in the middle rather than blue. I did do different examples actually. I had a green one and maybe another one. I'm not sure. In terms of like you know like I was trying to get the right feel, so I was just testing different ones and stuff. So I made an example of like you know how you know what it looked like and stuff. So you got your C shape. It's quite significant there in that sense. So it's like the mouth of the chakra. It like feeds into it. It allows out. It might have like spiritual significance as well, where you know the travel, how your soul comes here and leaves and stuff maybe. Um, a few things. Like look into the middle and stuff, and it's like because instead of it being green, it's red. So when we look at it, no, that's maximum zoom. It looks a bit like a sunset. And so if we consider we're looking at the horizon and we've got a green glow, so maybe it's even got a green sky there or whatever and stuff like that, but it tends to be green anyway. But it might be because this is blue and reacting with the colour. I don't know. It depends on stuff like that. But one of the things I noticed is like we see that dot and it's got another dot below it. So like that as part of a reflection. And you see where that comes out there? It seems to taper into a thin line and then like, like part at horizon. So again, like, part of a reflection and stuff. And that might even be a boat, So like on that moth, when we could see into the world and we could see the coastline and all the lights on the landscape and stuff like we were a city there. An old-fashioned style city, not a modern city. Oh yeah, I remember that. You can see it's forming, like the development of these shapes and like the in and out of the chakra, so the yin and yang and that kind of way. So like when we look to the seeds and it's got the 2 points. And these are interesting as well. I tend to be. That brightness is cool. See, it's not like the same as flames, is it? Like the comparison to the iris. If we are talking about water up there, and how froth is white, but then how sunlight shines on it, and then it becomes whichever colour the sunlight is offering. It's got like that cloudy detail. As he said, it becomes more like a butterfly, or whichever creature, a bat, and you know, showing you how your body relates to the portal of a realm. Like the detail of it, it's like the dome there, and all this here, all of that. So that would be like your star fields that we see in sky. But the same again, it doesn't mean that because we're small that the like an entire universe within it It looks like a chicken, like a baby chicken. You know, its eye bulges. It has that slit there, like a beak area, or a parrot, or, you know. But at the same time, you can see the realm in that way, like the dome, and then it's got that light. Like that light, that's like our sky. In shame when they're bright, but don't show right well because it just takes all colour away. Oh. I mean, they're a little bit blurry, but at the same time, I don't know. You look at, yeah, because the glare's just taking it off. See, like that, it looks a bit better. You can see some details and stuff. Ignoring them bubbles, I think they're real bubbles. Bubbles of air. You get them seeds like that, I mentioned them before. It's like an hard seed in the middle and it's got like wings, which like basically it's leaf which goes around it. Well, this is also like in the suggestion of like the opening and closing of a realm as well, in that kind of sense. So, like the daisy petals. It's like purple. It'd be interesting to see more evidence of what you can see inside, you know? Like that one with sunset, it's kind of interesting to say, like, that's what that is. That's got like this green ring which goes around it. It stands out better on photo, actually. Like you see my camera glare, brightness takes it away. It's the same on this one as well. Like tarantula patterns. And so we reference like the waves. The waves leave froth behind them, and then it's clear water, and repeats. So that's where they get it from, in terms of like how the ocean creates it. But its matchup is this spiritual aspect. So it finds it in the heavens, and then it can once it can find it in the environment that we're in, it knows we can use it. Because if it can't find it, then that means this place is not ready for life. You know, it's not a utopia. For which the forest also kind of determines a lot of it. Two planes. Oh no, actually, you look at that one. Yeah, dark area could be plain, and then you got light hitting domes, and so in the same respect, like light on top of dome, and then you got light in the middle, which is the actual sunlight and the realm that we're in. You can see that circle; it seems to go round it. But also, we don't want to rule out multiple levels as well. You know, like a chakra that could create in that kind of way. It depends whether it can or not. It's, exploring opportunities, options and stuff. We nearly end at flowers, and there's quite a few more episodes to follow up on as well. And so it's not just looking at these flowers. It's just that there's such an abundance of them. I decided to, just keep going with them for a while. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I said, it's like you can, like good details. If I skips this one, you know what I mean? It's quite good. You can see that there's so much you can see. I'll zoom in further. So you see the black holes, like leading to these tunnels, and like you see the iris, like it looks like it's forming part function of a pattern. So like the eyes being the window to the soul, it's also like the pathway to the soul. And the universe, which instead of saying the universe, it might be better to just term it as spirit. And so we see the heavens, and that's the spiritual realm. We explore the spiritual realm, like through astral projection, and then that's exploring spirit. Like I said, Millennium Falcon. You see, you've got all of this, and then within it, it's like a different colour, like that blue haze, purplish. There's a bit of red in there as well, but it's like, it looks like what space looks like to a certain degree. So this one's a bit different. It looks a bit like insect, like lava or something, you know what I mean? It looks, I don't know, it just looks a bit different. Like it's either, I could be completely misinterpreting it. It's just that it might, light affects stuff sometimes and it kind of makes it look different. See how it looks like the ethereal substance rather than looking solid. The insects, most of them don't look like that. So that's what I'm saying. It might just be, how optics look. Ah, look at that. So like that episode, a Krishna episode, we looked at I think it was first one reflections. We looked at reflection off at water. We spoke about the sun expanding, and then when it drew back, it left them behind, like the wandering stars. So they're like floating above the plane in that kind of sense. So if we turned it that way up, and when you get a planetary alignment, they're all in line that way, you know. So they can travel around there, would that be the top? But you've got that line there. But if that's spirit we were looking at, and we can't see the physical, I imagine we would be able to. I imagine that's the physical, you know, because we spoke about like being upright and horizontal or vertical. How that kind of works differently for your alignment. You walk in spirit, but you sleep with earth. All that kind of stuff. You align with earth when you go to sleep, like grounding or that kind of thing. So because it's really difficult to figure out orientation of it in that kind of sense, like the sun's path and all these kind of things and stuff. Obviously, if it's a flat plane, it's going to be above, isn't it? But it debunked like the creation of a moon. It's all this expands and contracts, and it leaves these glass balls. Some of them are filled with gas, some of them are covered in dust. And if they're torus fields as well, which we should be, then it should have a flat plane within each of them, including moon in that way. A bit blurry, but you got the sunlight in these, and then you got like the darkness in them, so you can see that pattern in there as well, like the seed with its wings in a way. But also like the shape of black pattern is also a kind of relevant shape as well, even though they keep changing. But there's a picture which kind of goes along with it in a bit. Maybe not this episode because I'm going to have to stop it soon. Dome. So it looks like translucent, so you can see through there, and like the land masses and all that kind of stuff within that part. And again, how this looks ethereal and finger-like. Also the green. So like the blue being like the sky, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave it at that because I'll start with the next picture and I'll run out of time. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all later. Cheers.